Welcome, or should I say welcome back to the Frugal Gardener's Homestead. When I was a lot younger, I used to hear the old folks say, if you don't keep busy, you better be careful, somebody might throw some dirt on you. Now, I got a kick out of it back then, but I didn't really fully understand until I started getting older. A lot of people, they retire, they sit around, and they don't seem to last very long. I'm showing you my newest project, my new mini food forest. And I'm going to back up and tell you, for those of you who are new to the channel, I'm the Frugal Gardener. I garden in Zone 7A. It's in the hills of West Virginia. And I'm in my soon to be late 70s. And so I tend to need more help than I did when I was younger. So this is the reason why I titled this video Best Weekend Ever. This video, when I say best weekend ever, this pertains to gardening because I had the entire Frugal family up here this weekend. It was, well, I knew that the Frugal daughter and the Frugal son-in-law would be here, but I didn't know everybody else would show up. And it was great. It was great in more reasons than one. We got into a conversation about gardening. Obviously, it's spring, and there was, a lot of give and take in terms of who was planting what, and we were giving each other pointers and things that we learned. The Frugal nephew was talking about the way that he uses his compost, or the way that he composts what he has. The Frugal son-in-law, well, whenever he's here, we always get so much done. And I can start with back here. He had to cut this bush back that was encroaching on this fence that I just put up. So he's been all over the place, and it wasn't just gardening. He also, him and the Frugal daughter, they always help me with firewood in the spring. He carried most of this, the soil and the mulch. I carried the compost. The Frugal daughter, she tested my soil. I'm going to try and add that to the end of the video. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that or not. She's the technical one, so I may have to put a link to that and do that separately. It is on TikTok. She put it on TikTok before she left. As you guys can see, if you have been keeping up with this transformation, and I hope you have, a lot got done yesterday. It was amazing to see how much stuff that we got done in a short period of time. And that's because everybody pitched in. Everybody was working. So instead of just being me doing a little bit at a time, we got all these bins and containers put up. We had conversations along the way about direct sow versus starters. We talked about not having enough water. We were concerned about it not being enough rain this summer. So we might have an issue with not having enough water for our gardens. We talked about, well, like I told you, the soil testing. I should have brought that back out, but this is where I had to try and release some of this soil. And this soil is no joke. I'm not going to keep you guys in suspense. You probably can look at it and tell it's crap. I knew it going in. I didn't know how crappy it was, but it is actually worse than what I expected it to be. So we talked about soil testing. We talked about droughts. We talked about growing corn. That has been our nemesis. The Frugal son-in-law and I have tried to grow corn on several occasions, and let's just say the results have been mediocre. Neither one of us have been happy with the results from our corn. So this area back here, this is the walkway where the mulch is. And from here to that fence, this is where there's going to be corn and sorghum and sunflowers, so we can get the seeds from out of the sunflowers. And a few other things are going to be planted back here. I'm not going to go over the whole layout again because I've already done that in previous videos. I did some seed sharing, gave seeds to anybody who wanted them. We went through my stash, excuse me, and I pretty much gave people what they needed because we talked about this before on my videos, that the seed prices are getting really ridiculous. So I have all these new seeds, and it doesn't make sense for them to go out and buy 4, 5, 6 packs of seeds if they're only going to use 3 or 4 seeds out of each pack. And since they live in Ohio, I don't see them that often. When it's time for them to plant, they probably aren't going to be able to just, swing by and pick them up because they're not in town that often. So, there's that. My new neighbor, when I say new, I just met him less than a year ago. I had a discussion with him over the weekend about this stuff here, this manure. I cannot find the black cow anymore anywhere. So what did I do? I have 2 choices. I can buy this cheap stuff, which is obviously what I did. Not real happy about it. Or they have the real expensive stuff, which I can't afford, and I probably wouldn't pay for it if I had the money. So I have a deal going with him, and he's going to bring me up a truck of manure. He is late. It was supposed to have been a couple of days ago. So I'll send him a text and see what the situation is. He's very busy. So, the whole thing, the manure, the seed, sharing the corn. We harvested some basil, and the mint I showed you in the opening of this video. So yeah, that was quite a bit in one weekend. And like I said, we also did a couple of things with that wasn't really gardening related, things that were pertaining to the chickens, things that were pertaining to getting our firewood ready for next winter, so stuff like that. This is the straw that's going to go over everything. Once I get everything in here, I'm going to stagger this. I'm not going to put all the melons in at once because I don't want them, I'm not going to eat them all at once. I'm being strategic about where I'm placing these, the trees. The sun is going to hit this. Here we are now. We're about 12 o'clock. So from the time that passes this tree, you'll see this whole area is going to be perfect. It's going to be lit up. I'm going to get sun from here until it comes down behind this pine tree, which is probably going to be around 5 o'clock. So that's going to give me 6-7 hours a day. So I'm real happy about that. This is what I mentioned to you earlier, where the frugal son-in-law took this down. He's very handy with a chainsaw, so I don't have that issue anymore. This I have to fill. Well, I'm going to dump it and refill it. This was my first fountain. I have a second fountain, but let me show you what else was done over the weekend. Like I said, all this mulch, I need to get obviously more mulch so you can see the vision that I've been talking about for, I don't know, a month and a half since I started. So this way, this will cut down on the weeds, and it'll also give me a clear path to get up and down both sides of the garden. It got cold last night. This all has to be watered. I'm not going to go through what's in here again right now because, again, we went over that, and right now there's not much to look at here anyway. So the topsoil is primarily going to go into these pots that I have not used yet. I want to take some of the larger pots, two to be exact, from out of this old area, which I'm still going to use. And I'm going to bring them into here because I can get more production out of them. There's more sun over here. This apple tree I kind of overlooked. It needs to be in the ground. That's going to be done tomorrow. But in case you haven't noticed, my wind chimes are up. These are the solar wind chimes that was put up by the Frugal Nephew. Now this requires a little bit of explanation when I say the Frugal Nephew, because there's actually the Frugal Nephew and the, I guess you can say, mini Frugal Nephew, which is his son, who will be 11 this year. And he also gardens, and he also helps out a lot around here. So I had trouble getting this piece in here, this last screw up in here, and he managed to take care of that for me, because it's a little bit of a slope here. One slip and that's going to be a problem. I said to you guys earlier that I was going to wait to put the steps in because this was more important to me. And as you can see, I'm probably about 90% finished thanks to their help. So yeah, this is going to, I didn't get anything out of this last night because it's been pretty cloudy. But now that the sun is coming out, I did have one of these up last year over here. So this is going to be pretty. Here's the archway. And so he took care of that. He took care of this. The frugal son-in-law, while my daughter was testing the soil and making a video for me, the frugal son-in-law helped me with the lights. I was going to wait to put the lights out. But when you have people that come to you and say, what do you need? What do you need help with? What do you want me to do? You take that help when you can get it, especially when you're my age. So yeah, I'm going to have to stabilize these a little bit more. But this is great because it runs the whole 40 feet from one end to the other. And as I mentioned to you guys previously, everything here is solar. I'm not using electricity for anything in this garden. The lights are solar. The wind chimes are solar. And this I have not put up yet. This is one of the few things that I still haven't done yet because I don't have all the pots and the containers in place. But this is my drip system, which is, it falls to the conversation I was saying to you that we were having earlier about ways to save money. I'm actually going to do a video on that probably next week, because Thursday is a new series of gardening with your kids. So next week I may do that video on how to save water. So this is something else that I talked about briefly, and I'm going to do another video on this. This is very cool. I like this a lot, and we covered this already. So this has not been done. But the frugal son-in-law, here's my solar panel. This is obviously the back of the solar panel. And so when that sun comes down over here in the afternoon, it'll catch that light from that panel, and they'll light that up down here. And this is something pretty obvious that I waited to show you guys, because this was, again, the Frugal Nephew. That's the Frugal Nephew Senior, I guess you can say. Well, the older Frugal Nephew. I basically told him what my vision was for this, and he attached this together, put this up for me together, and this is supposed to be squirrel proof. So we're going to see how that works out. This is all, again, as I mentioned before, this is all designed as kind of a, I guess you can call it a mini, excuse me, a mini ecosystem. There's nothing happening up this way for the past couple of summers. So yes, I need this to kind of scare the deer away, and it's also pretty to look at. I need this bee hotel to attract the bees, although I'm not going to get any benefit out of this because it's going to take about a year before I actually get the bees out of here, but you got to start somewhere. The lights, obviously, for when I'm up here in the evening or if I have to come up here and get something. And plus, they look pretty. The bird feeder, there's actually several bird feeders because the glass one is a hummingbird feeder. I have a total of 3 of those, and that is just a regular bird feeder. All of this is for a purpose. What I showed you down this end also. Now, the last real important thing that I'm going to need to do is really not inside the garden, it's outside the garden. This is my compost that I've been working on. So, once this is dispersed and it gets a little bit warmer, then I'm going to go on the outside. I have to dig all this up. I'm not going to get over ambitious and try to do from the top to the bottom, from the left to the right. As I've said, this is 40 feet. So 40 feet, and then you got about 8 feet going in each direction. That's a bit much. So I'm going to open this area up here and put some nutrients in this area here. And this is where the wildflowers are going to go that I showed you in the old video. I'll link to the old video if you missed it or if you're new. So the wildflowers from here going across about halfway down. I'll put those, and yeah, they are designed to attract the bees and the birds and the butterflies. So the one other thing that I decided to add is a bird bath. So that's very minor. It's not going to be a big deal. Where that shovel is right there is where this peach tree right here is going to go. So I'm going to have that one tree here because I wanted it away from the house. I finally decided where I wanted it. So when the flowers come up here, the 4 o'clocks, and I have a couple of vines I'm going to put over here. Once all this fills in and everything starts growing in here, then you'll really start to see everything take shape. This has come a long way from it being in my head to me putting it on paper to me actually seeing this thing come to life. And in a couple of weeks, we should start seeing these seedlings come up. These bags will be gone. This I have not addressed. These are old polycarbonate panels that have seen better days. And right now, the only use I can get out of those is to use them as a makeshift door. I slide them across and stack them, and that will keep the deer and anything else that's roaming around here from getting in. I know we have rabbits. I've seen them. I know we have wild turkeys. I know we have possums. I haven't seen any possums recently, but I know they're here. So yeah, thanks to all the help. I'm going to say it again. Thank you to the frugal son-in-law. Thank you to the frugal daughter. Thank you to both the frugal nephews. Thank you, all you guys for coming up, getting all this stuff done for me, with me, so that I can move forward. And now I can focus on planting, because this is a huge undertaking for me, because once this is done, I still have to come down here and deal with this mess, because I knew this was going to be overrun. I knew this was going to be a problem. It's just, I shouldn't even say it's a problem. This is just the way it goes, you know. I mean, it's going to get overgrown. A lot of this is going to go into the compost. Some of this is going to go to the chickens. And this is going to be fixed up, and I'll be able to plant and grow more food from here also. So that's the idea, and try to make it easy enough so that I don't have to run around in the hot sun with a watering can. This is the reason why I'm going to do that solar drip irrigation setup that I need to put up. And last thing is, showed you guys this before. This is going to be my wheat. This is brand new to me. I've never done this before. And from my research, I know I'm not going to get much out of this, but I'm hoping to get at least enough to make a loaf. And it may not even be enough for that, but it'll give me some practice, and it'll put me in a position so that when the fall comes, I'll know what to do and how much to plant, and I'll know what not to do. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching again. Excuse me. I appreciate you guys coming back week after week. I appreciate your comments. Any questions, please post them in the comments below. And next week, I will give you another update. And I'm hoping that next week I can do that video. I have a couple things coming, a couple of tricks up my sleeve, some things that I've used in the past to help save water, to conserve water, because you don't know what the weather's going to be like this summer. I mean, nobody knows. So instead of trying to rely on running your water bill up or saving enough water, if we can conserve what we have, then that's going to save us money, even if we had to spend a couple dollars to get a few things. And I'm getting ahead of myself. So at any rate, that's it. You guys get out and grow something. Remember, when you grow your own food, you'll always know where it comes from. This is the Frugal Gardener. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Enjoy your day.